Jeremy Corbyn has admitted Labour is braced for market meltdown and a run on the pound if he wins power. The Labour leader confirmed that the party has been using war games to rehearse how they will respond to national panic if they end up government. But he insisted the planning just showed they were serious and prepared for all eventualities. A major run on the pound could trigger a recession almost overnight if the city has no confidence in a new Labour administration. The preparations emerged as Labour holds its annual conference in Brighton, where Mr. Corbyn and his left-wing allies have been consolidating their grip on the party. But the leadership is facing a furious anti-Semitism row after activists at an event on the fringe of the gathering compared supporters of Israel to the Nazis. Another speaker suggested Labour should be free to debate whether the Holocaust had happened. The Equality and Human Rights Commission has demanded swift action from the leadership to expel those who make unacceptable remarks. But former London Mayor Ken Livingstone, a supporter of Mr. Corbyn, waded into the controversy by saying that activists not anti-Semitic but just going over the top because they were angry about the treatment of Palestinians. Mr. Corbyn is also facing a row about intimidation of Laura Kuenssberg. Theb's political editor has been given a bodyguard following threats from left-wingers at the conference. In an apparent sign of tensions with the corporation, the leader has not agreed to the traditional conference interview with its flagship Radio 4 Today program, although he was interviewed by Ms. Kuenssberg herself this afternoon. Asked about the threats made to the journalist, Mr. Corbyn said, "I don't wish anyone to have to be accompanied by a bodyguard anywhere in our society and certainly not in our conference. I don't want anyone to be abused by anyone." Shadow Chancellor John McDonnell revealed the party's preparations for a hostile response if they defy expectations and seize No 10. Addressing a fringe event at Labour conference last night, he said Mr. Corbyn was determined to hit the ground running if he won power but admitted any such victory could terrify the markets. Left-wing academic Richard Barbrook, a senior lecturer at the University of Westminster and the founder of a group called Class War Games, is running the rehearsals for Labour, Mr. McDonnell said. Speaking to Momentum activists in Brighton, the Shadow Chancellor said the party had to scenario plan with experts to talk through what happens if. Acknowledging those scenarios included capital flight, he said, "What happens if there is a run on the pound?" He continued, "I don't think there will be, but you never know, so we've got to scenario plan for that. People want to know we are ready and they want to know we have got a response to everything that could happen. Because if we can demonstrate that, that will calm things down." At the event he said Labour's plans if they had won the June 8 election would have seen a budget by the end of July legislating for a financial transaction tax and measures to crack down on tax avoidance. Mr. McDonnell said Labour should increase involvement from wider society in the development of plans to build up a base that can resist the potential assault a radical government would face. In a round of interviews this afternoon, Mr. Corbyn said Labour was just acting like a serious party. What he is doing is saying we look at all scenarios that may affect a Labour government. It is worth seeing these things through. Surely that's what an opposition serious about getting into government wants to do, he told Sky News. Now, today, in the Treasury, there is a whole team of brilliant people looking at speculation against the pound and runs on the pound that might affect our economy. John is making the point that we have got to look at all these things and all these scenarios.